turn this down. Alright, cool. Alright. A song that was made in 1969 that sold over millions of copies. It's label number 2 greatest song of all time according to Rolling Stone, and number 4 in the city of Detroit ever, according to Detroit Times. Was created after an event that happened in a park in Berkeley, California. An overview, I'm going to be talking about events leading up to the protest, what the protest was about, and how the people's protest turned into the infamous Bloody Thursday, the aftermath, and the conclusion. May 15th, 1969, Governor Reagan sends the House, meaning Governor Reagan does not play any games. He is very upset that people are protesting in this park. He sends the California Patrol, and he sends every unit in the Berkeley Police Department to this event. So where they are right now is the police are in this green area, which is the People's Park. Meanwhile, the protest, which originally was meant for the Arab-Israeli conflict, 3,000 people are meeting at Stroll Plaza, which is right over here. So around noon, these are where the two parties are, and then an hour later, this is when they collide. But before we do that, I want to talk about a key player in this, and this guy's name is Obie Benson. Born in June 14th, 1936, died in 2005, July 1st. He is a member of the Motown group, the Four Tops, and he is present during this rioting. He's not participating, but he is a bystander. So just keep that back in your head. Back to the action. So, this right here. So, the People's Park, people are really gathering, and then somebody says the phrase, "We want the park." Knowing that this is the mentality of both parties, knowing that Reagan wants the park, and also the people of Berkeley want the park, this is really what sets off the whole thing. So 3,000 people turn into 4,000 people versus 791 officers, and they all meet up at the People's Park Plaza. This is when everything turns bloody. So in response to this, the police department throws tear gas into the crowd. Meanwhile, in retaliation, the crowd throws rocks and just objects at the police. In return, the cops do buckshot shotguns and start shooting the people in the protest. The aftermath was pretty grim. It was labeled the day was labeled Bloody Thursday. At least 128 residents were admitted to the local hospitals. There were many more, but people feared of being arrested. And there were dozens and dozens of cops that were also injured, but they did not check themselves into the local hospitals. One did perish. They had a memorial on May 21st. But this is what really hurt, is when the police and the citizen relationship devoured. One quote was that the misconduct and the misuse of shotguns was sheer insanity, and that's from a local doctor. And probably the most infinite quote in which we hear right now is, the police were beating up kids, but they wasn't bothering anybody. I saw this and started wondering what was going on. And that was by Obie Benson. Later that day, he writes the song, "What's Going On." So inclusion, the People's Park is actually what changed history in terms of music and in terms of American history. In terms of music, we would not have this song nor this album, period, if it wasn't for Obie Benson being present at this event. And lucky enough, this song is what catapulted really a lot of revolutionary and protest songs in the late 60s, early 70s. And this album was also labeled as one of the greatest albums of all time throughout all genres. And when tragedy turns into beauty, after the People's Park protest, people came back and set another peaceful protest in memory of the people who were hurt and the person who was killed. And that doesn't show the people coming together after a nation's tragedy, then I don't know what will. In terms of American history, this only is the beginning of Ronald Reagan's examples of overforce. He has a history of police brutalities in California while he was governor and also while he was president. He was not a fan of the opposition. He was not a fan of people opposing him, which I don't know if that sounds similar today, but this celebrity in chief was not the first. So what's next? We don't know. What we know is that this event, this music, and the people's attitude is what changed us, and the effects are still here today. Thank you.